Hello, everyone. Yeah, we're back. Yeah, it's been a while. I know. Uh, I've I gave myself a year-long hiatus for What Is and the Discordancy podcast. I returned to What Is back in February. Now I'm going to return to this podcast on the month of March. We're going to 2024 is going to be the year of content for me. I will be releasing so much. Hopefully, I will hopefully launch so much content. Yeah. Anyways, we're back. Welcome to season 2, episode 1 of the Discordancy podcast. Now, for me, the way that seasons will work in this podcast is that for every single year there will be a season. So for 2023, the 4 episodes, like the 4 original episodes, that was season 1. This is the beginning of season 2, and whatever will be the very last episode in the year 2024 will also be the last episode of season 2. That will also be the same for season 3 in 2025, season 4 in 2026, season 5 in 2027, season 6 in 2028, and so on and so on. That is if I get to continue making these videos. So now I have a topic. You already know what it is because it is in the title of the episode. Okay. So the thumbnails and the posters on Spotify and on YouTube will remain the same. The top left corner of the video thumbnail or on the square poster of the podcast episode on Spotify. I think there is, maybe I don't know. Anyways, there's the numerical order will remain the same. It's only that they will be split in 2 different seasons. I'm holding this mic because my other mic that I was supposed to use was broken, so I'm holding this one. I think next episode, if I could, I would use a stand. Anyways, enough yapping because we'll be yapping some more. Today we'll be talking about the Israel-Hamas War. I talked about this before back in on my video on the 29th of February. It was like a 4-minute long video, I think, or 3-minute long video where I basically was telling people to, like not let this issue die and we should donate to charities and we should remain aware that there is still a war happening in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip, and that the people, like the civilians, were the ones most affected by this conflict because it is. So, if you live under a rock, which I assume you're not because you're listening to this podcast, the Israel-Hamas War began on the 7th of October 2023. And it was like a very, very it's still a very rocky conflict. It's known as the Battle of Al-Aqsa Flood by Palestinian militants and the War of Iron Swords on Israel. It's still underway. So if I could show you a map, I don't know. If you're listening to this on audio, I'm sorry, but I think if I can, I think I can show this on video. So there's this part. So yeah, there's a lot of the Gaza Strip is now under Israel, like in Israeli control. Like there's a lot. There's much area. There's so many square kilometers, I think, of like the Gaza Strip that's been claimed by Israel. It's no longer a war. It's now an invasion, like the Russia-Ukraine war, which is actually still happening today. We cannot forget that. It's been a little over a year, but this conflict is much more widely talked about because of the US's position on this conflict. Because even though this conflict has only been going on for about 5 months, 2 weeks, and 3 days, if I'm counting this correctly, uh, it like the U.S. is siding with Israel, which is not good. I would say the Israel considers itself as the beacon of light for peace. It just considers itself as such, but then it supplies hundreds of billions of dollars and sides with Israel, a country that has invaded and to an extent bombed so many schools and hospitals. They even bombed civilians, uh, like residential homes. They even bomb aid workers from the UNRWA. It's really, it's it's saddening. It's upsetting that the U.S. is taking this side of the conflict. It's not. It's not. It's just really, really bad. Oh boy. Anyways, the okay. Let's move on to something. Let's just continue with this. Over 30,000 people have died in Gaza. That's a lot of people, and yeah, that includes over 12,300 children and 8,400 women. That's that's a lot. And yeah, women and children are the ones most affected by this conflict. 12 that Women and children make up over two-thirds of the casualties in Gaza. And nearly all of the 2.3 million people living in Gaza are internally displaced. That means they're no longer in their, like, they're just displaced. They're just there. They're That's really, really saddening. Yeah. Anyway, again, that's a lot of people. Oh god. Now Israel is, of course, the one doing the killing, most of the killing, because they have created a blockade which cut off food, clean water, medicine, fuel, electricity, and communications, which led to a humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip and the collapse of healthcare. Yeah, they have, you know they they cut off so much. Even they even killed doctors from the charity of Doctors Without Borders. They're really going insane with this. But let's continue. By 2024, Israeli forces have destroyed more than half of the strip's houses, hundreds of cultural landmarks, and dozens of cemeteries. Attacks on Gazan food infrastructure have led to increased risk of famine, leading to accusations that Israel is using starvation as a weapon of war. There, ano boys? Ano man? Sige, 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 kuha. Ano man? Ano day kunin nyo? Oh, dito lang day. Sige, Clark. Tara ka, Clark. Naa. Ah? Sige, sige. Dala ka. Bahala ka na, Clark. Anyways, attacks on... Gawas na lang, Clark. Attacks on Gazan food infrastructure have led to increased risk of famine, leading to accusations. All right, I already done this up. Israel's invasion started with laying siege to Gaza City on the 2nd of November, and after the expiration of a 7-day truce, moved south to attack Han Yunis on the 3rd of December, and aiming to attack Rafah. Israel forces killed an estimate 6,000 to 13,000 Palestinian militants during the conflict, while the latter killed over 250 Israeli soldiers. Sig katawa, Clark. Pwede ba ka mo gawas, Clark? Tarong, Clark, ah. Magitik lagi ta karon na. So, let's take a look at the the belligerents this conflict. In the Gaza Strip is Hamas, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, the Democratic Front for the Liberation of Palestine, the Al Aqsa Martyrs Brigades, the Popular Resistance Committees, the PFLPGC, and some smaller Palestinian militant groups. While on Israel's side is just Israel. Magkao na, Clark? Magkao na? Oh, see. Oh, wala pa, wala pa. Igna, unya pa kumukhaon. Anyways, yeah, like Israel is committing most of the the killings, even though even though Gaza and the Palestinian militants are outnumbered. No, I know not really outnumbered. There's just a lot more coordination on the Palestinian side, and Israel is just alone. Well, not really alone. They're assisted by the U.S. in terms of weapons supplied to them. The U.S. has supplied a lot of weapons to them. Sa Clark, sa Clark. uh, Anyways, the um, the U.S. has sent, I think, about over $100 billion worth of weapons to the to Israel, and yeah, and here's the thing: the House of actually the Senate is currently voting. I think it's today or sometime, but they will be voting on whether to ban TikTok or not. Well, they say it isn't, but we will go with the broader with some we'll take some broader detail here. So the the US Senate is currently looking at a law that force would force ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok, to sell the app to someone to a US company. Yeah, that that's just no. Anyways, the US House of Representatives overwhelmingly voted to approve a bill that would ban TikTok in the US unless the wildly popular short video app is sold to a non-Chinese parent company, more specifically a US parent company. President Joe Biden and some U.S. lawmakers have called the app a potential national security threat and warned that the Chinese Communist Party could use it to glean sensitive data on its 150 million users in the U.S. But there is only very limited evidence involving pro-democracy protesters in Hong Kong that TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, has ever directly shared any user data with the Chinese government, and there is no public proof that ByteDance has handed US user data to Beijing. Here is the thing. the the U.S. Congress, more specifically the U.S. House of Representatives, and President Joe Biden just used this, apparently, used this as an excuse to ban TikTok, because the actual reason is that TikTok promotes so much pro-Palestinian content, and so many young Americans right now are currently pro-Palestine, which is good. I am pro-Palestine, and I can see why I'm in this why I'm in this position, I'm Filipino, but a lot of young Filipinos today are currently siding with Palestine. There are some siding with Israel, which is very questionable, but yeah, a lot of Filipinos, including me, you know, uh, yeah. Anyways, I think we're about to eat. Yeah, pro Palestine, donate to rescue.org. That's it. We will see you March 29th. Goodbye.